Overall, I thought he played a pretty good game. Pretty, you know, smart game. I thought he was very smart tonight. Didn't overexert himself. Didn't put himself in tough spots. And we managed his minutes pretty good. I thought I used him a little bit more at the end of the game, obviously, but it kind of got to that point.
If I'm correct, I think he played under 20 minutes Saturday night,
17 something, I think,
which
on
is
Saturday.
a fairly low number here
for
and
him. But, okay, Kippy, what was the point of him being vague last week? Like not even saying I could return on the weekend. Okay, so so when he didn't say that, you remember we talked about that, when he didn't even say there's a date that he could come back. So, okay, I'm going to read positives. Look how well he played. He played really well, and he was back. Or is that just the worry that at any time, whether it was the Gilbert hit in Buffalo, that it could go back again and this situation is not going to correct itself unless, say, surgery or something happens? I don't know. I'm going to park that. But anyway, I was just glad he was back, but it was interesting. You had that kind of that amicable chat, but with everybody, I thought he was going to be gone for quite some time, so I was pleasantly surprised.
I'm just not sure if he was well prepared. Like if he had a thought process in his mind when he first got approached about returning, if he really was well prepared. Like he kind of left it out there, and I'm not sure if it was.
We had the clip from, was it earlier this week? I just grabbed it.
Yeah,
the one where he was talking. Yeah,
let's play it one more time.
That clip I just put into there, Derek, please.
Do you feel like this is something, Austin, that with the appropriate amount of rest, you will be able to put behind you at some point this season?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope so. That's obviously the goal. It's tricky with these things sometimes. It's a physical sport, it's a contact sport, so, things happen out there sometimes that are out of your control. So just try to manage it as best as I can and that we can and just go from there.
Like, I think he was, like, brutally honest, and those are the first thoughts that came to his mind, but I don't think he really thought about the ramifications of those comments and how open-ended it left people to think, like, what is he trying to say here? That he doesn't believe he'll ever be 100% healthy again for at least the remainder of this season, and we're just going to have to give and take the situation? Or, is he possibly leaving himself an out? So if, in fact, he doesn't look good, he can turn around and say, hey, like I told you, I'm just trying to deal with it, and I don't know if I'm going to feel great again this year. Like, it just kind of left it. And then, lo and behold, he plays both the games on the weekend.
He plays great. He plays great.
I was stunned. Like when you start seeing the news trickling in of him leading the stretch at practice and he's practicing in the full, I couldn't believe it. And I guess that just goes back to that clip that we played earlier in the week where he's talking about how he's not sure if he's going to be healthy and you just have to do this and you just have to do that. Like, I don't know. Seeing that he was playing, my first reaction was like, is he trying to prove to everybody that he's healthy enough to play in the Four Nations? That was my first thought. But then he goes out there on Saturday night and he's excellent. I thought it was the best he looked the whole season in terms of speed, physicality, decisiveness. I thought he looked the best he looked all year. So I don't even know what to think. Well, I'm completely lost on it.
I know last year, like I mentioned a few times during the All-Star break, did a couple of fan forums with him, Mitch Marner, Morgan Riley, and William Nylander. And they were fun to do. And one is Steve Keogh, the PR guy, said, if you're taking questions from the crowd, like Austin doesn't want to be asked anymore about scoring 70 goals, right? Because that's all he was being asked last year. You're going to score whatever goals. And I'm sure he's tired of being asked about this all the time. So maybe he's taught himself, I'm not going to back myself in a corner ever, okay? That's part one. Or the other part, again, we're playing amateur doctor here. Is it just something that, again, kaboom, he's not there for game one of the playoffs or game four or game whatever it may be down the road. So I just thought, when he didn't put, like, we knew Ovechkin was going to be back in 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
And he's back.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. And Austin Matthews made it seem, that must be the best rest he's ever got, Kipper. Because he said he needed, so maybe he got like 2 8-hour REM sleeps or something that were off the charts.
Got a new bed or something.
Yeah. We got to go to that sleep specialist that got him back on Saturday.
I do buy into, I think, the internal pressure he feels to be ready to play for the Team USA in this Four Nations. I do. I buy into it. I think there's a ton of pressure on him to be a face of the Team USA.
Yeah. And I mean, the calendar's turned here to January. It's 2025. We're less, or not less, but about a month away here from it starting. You need to prove to everybody in the hockey world that you're ready to go for that. And like Saturday night was stunning to me how good he looked. So I don't know.
Team USA, before Saturday, you're thinking could be without the last American to win the Hart Trophy, Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
And Quinn Hughes, a viable Norris Trophy candidate, even a Hart Trophy candidate. So all of a sudden, you're looking at those possibilities not being there. So, but Kippy, it still comes down to at what point, things have changed, as we know. So whose call is it whether he goes to the First Nations or not? And also, the player at the end of it. Decades ago, maybe the team could say, but now with the doctor saying you can play versus the team saying, why don't you rest? Why don't you rest? That would be better for the team thing. And the players say, no, I'm plodding through the regular season. I'm going to do it. And also, is it different because it's the Four Nations versus the Olympics? Like, might there be, like Steve Yzerman in 2002? Like he really defined his season. He wasn't the same after him. They won Stanley Cups anyway in other years. So I'm just interested. Do you think it's the player's call to play in the Four Nations?
I can't definitively say yes or no on that. I will say this, though. The players today, particularly these superstars, have never had more power ever
And here,
to make
too.
calls on when to play, when not to play, when to see a second or third opinion.
In every sport.
To take, in general, for sure. And I do believe that particularly with the Four Nations, it doesn't have, of course, the cachet of the Olympics, but maybe from an eternal point of view, this is the players' tournament. This is to create revenue so they can build up their own personal contracts or the salary cap. Like, this is their baby here.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe there's even more pressure on him to be that leader for their tournament compared to a IIHF sanctioned Olympics in many ways. I don't know. Did he not tweet something between him and Connor McDavid that
I think
was
it's a
kind
McDonald's commercial.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. And of course it is closer to maybe a Four Nations. So all of that kind of comes into play here for a guy that says, okay, I got to get my act going here. Okay, if it doesn't feel great, whatever I'm dealing with, bad back, a wrist, whatever it is, hip, I gotta get back in and just start playing some games again.
So Don Fehr, as head of the Players Association, misread the players about how hockey players want to play best on best international hockey. Like, he misread that. He didn't understand his constituents, how significant it was, and he quickly found out. And they were bitterly disappointed when they couldn't go to the Olympics when COVID reared its ugly head again. So, these guys haven't played since the Young Guns game in 2016. So, we're talking like 8+ years after. So, Sam, I just think they all want to go. And I like that. I like that. I just...
Leafs all in on center hunt. Treliving's bold moves could shape Toronto's future. As a die-hard Toronto Maple Leaf supporter, it's hard not to get excited about the latest trade buzz surrounding the team. Brad Treliving, the Leafs general manager, appears poised to make some daring moves to strengthen the squad's depth down the middle. The whispers of significant trades are growing louder, and Elliot Friedman of Sportsnet has added fuel to the fire with his recent revelations. The situation has become even more pressing as the Leafs grapple with the ongoing upper body injury to team captain Austin Matthews. Matthews has already missed the last 4 games, and while the team is doing its best to stay afloat, the need for reinforcements at center is undeniable. Treliving, it seems, is ready to part with valuable assets to address this glaring need. The center's on Treliving's radar. Names like Jake Evans from the Montreal Canadiens, Brock Nelson from the New York Islanders, and the Philadelphia Flyers' Morgan Frost have been mentioned as potential targets. These players bring a mix of experience and skill, each offering something unique to the Leafs lineup. But, as Friedman highlighted during his appearance on the Fan 590's The Fan Hockey Show, the price tags for these players vary significantly. That's the number one thing he's, Treliving, been looking at all season, Friedman noted, emphasizing the GM's focus on finding the right fit at center. This isn't just about plugging a hole, it's about finding a player who can elevate the team to new heights. Priorities in focus. While some fans might argue that the Leafs need help on defense, Friedman suggested that Treliving's primary focus is elsewhere. They did a lot of their work in the off-season. I think now there's a question if they need to go find someone to play with Morgan Reilly, he explained. But, it's not their number one priority. I believe their number one thing all season has been, let's find another center. This clear focus on center depth speaks volumes about Treliving's strategy. The Leafs are willing to pay a hefty price, but there's a caveat: the player must come with term. Why term matters? The preference for term isn't just a strategic move, it's a sign that Treliving is thinking long-term. Rentals can be tempting, especially for a team looking to make a deep playoff run, but they often come with risks. One of the things I've heard is that if they're going to spend assets on a center, they would prefer it to be someone with term, Friedman revealed. This approach ensures that any trade made benefits the Leafs beyond the immediate future. Internal struggles and potential fits. Internally, the Leafs have tried to find solutions. Fraser Minton showed promise earlier this season, but the organization prefers to let him develop further with the Marlies. Meanwhile, the Leafs' current lineup has struggled to maintain its depth in Matthews' absence. One intriguing option could be Vincent Trocheck from the New York Rangers. With the Rangers facing their own challenges, could they be persuaded to part with a player like Trocheck, who already has chemistry with Leaf stars from last year's All-Star game? The road ahead. As the calendar flips to 2025, the trade deadline looms larger. Treliving's actions in the coming months will undoubtedly shape the Leafs' playoff aspirations and potentially their long-term future. For Leafs fans, the anticipation is palpable. Every move, every rumor, and every game feels like a piece of the puzzle. Treliving's willingness to swing for the fences shows a commitment to bringing a championship to Toronto, a dream that has eluded the franchise for far too long. Why this matters? This isn't just another season. This is a chance for the Leafs to solidify their identity as a contender. With Matthews expected to return and the possibility of a major trade to bolster the lineup, the team is poised to make a statement. Treliving's boldness, combined with the team's potential, makes it an exhilarating time to be a Leafs fan. Whether it's Evans, Nelson, Frost, or another unexpected addition, one thing is clear: the Leafs are in it to win it. So, buckle up, Leafs Nation. The journey ahead promises to be as thrilling as it is unpredictable. Treliving's moves could define the legacy of this team, and, hopefully, end the championship drought that has haunted Toronto for decades. The weight of expectations. The Leafs are no strangers to the pressure of the spotlight. Toronto is a hockey city, and the Maple Leafs are its beating heart. Every move made by management is scrutinized, every decision debated endlessly by fans and analysts alike. Treliving stepped into a challenging role when he took over as GM, and his willingness to take bold steps shows he understands the weight of these expectations. What makes this moment particularly critical is the team's current window of contention. With stars like Auston Matthews, Mitch Marner, and William Nylander in their